Good afternoon, man. So, the topic of this video is that how to live an interesting life. Because when I first started to dig into this domain of my life, how to actually make it somewhat interesting, not just like repetitive and just like with a good routine, but how to actually make life somewhat interesting, how to actually gain some experience in life, because experience and memories are kind of like they're akin to each one another. And so the way, honestly, like this is some like basic shit I will tell you, but the way to make memories, how to like actually live an interesting life, the way to that is just by simply going out on some kind of like adventures, endeavors, etc. Like any of that stuff. Because when I first heard this advice, like 1.5 years ago, it changed my life. And more precisely, the advice that I heard is that, like, imagine the place that you live, like the city, the maybe even like I don't know, maybe you live in like a fucking rural town or something like that. But imagine the place that you live in, almost like from like a video game map perspective, and you have like gray areas there that you haven't discovered yet, and you simply go into those places of your town, of your city, of just maybe your place, the place that you haven't discovered yet, the place that you haven't been to, and you just simply walk around. It changed my life. This advice changed my life because I live in a fucking like massive city. It's like 50 kilometers wide. So I have a lot of places to go. But in 1.5 years, I've actually traveled throughout all of the city. Like I have never been to this part of the forest which I'm walking in right now, because it's like on the fucking border. I'm literally like I'm walking on the border of my city right now. But it's my favorite forest in the entire town, and I wouldn't have discovered it if I would not hear this advice 1.5 years ago. So I'm kind of like in this like, technically I'm in a new place right now, but it's also like it's one of the last places I haven't been in my city. So I have already like fucking overused this advice of just like traveling around. So for me, like the next level is just going to different cities, so maybe even like different countries. Because for example, like 3 weeks ago, I was on holidays, and me and my friend, we just got onto like a Flixbus to a different city, which is like 200 kilometers away from the place where I live in. And let me tell you like something, it was fucking insane. It was like literally, I got so much experience from just going like 200 kilometers. And like most of the guys, especially like the younger guys who are like 15, 14, they wouldn't be able to do this because they're just simply not allowed to go that far from their home. And like I totally understand it, because like I'm 15, and the thing, like I'm allowed to go like 150 kilometers away from my home. Like that's a fucking privilege right here. But the thing is, for most of the guys, the original advice that I heard, and it is just like, as I said, like go and explore your place, it will work magically for them. Because most likely, if you're watching those types of videos where like how to not live a boring life, how to make your life go at a slower pace, how to actually live a memorable life, etc., like any of this stuff, you probably, I can literally guess who you are. You're probably a young guy who is in school, or maybe like you're not young, who's like maybe you're already a bit older and you have a work, or you're in the university, but like you have some kind of place that you go in, that you must go in. And then you wake up at a certain time, maybe like, I don't know, 7 a.m. You commute to school, work, or university, then you come back home and you just consume content on YouTube, on like maybe you watch some Netflix. Or if you're more advanced and you're already on self-improvement, maybe you go to the gym and then you come back home and still you consume content. And that's life for like that's how most of the guys live their lives. And I'm not going to actually like blame a lot, like blame how much on them, because like life is to some degree repetitive, and you have to have a good routine, a stable routine in which you actually like do all of the good habits and you avoid the bad ones, and etc, etc. But for most of the guys, not for most, like for all the people around the world, living a memorable life, living an interesting life is directly their responsibility. And so I have a routine too, and when I got off like those holidays, those 2 weeks, which were like not so long ago, those were some fucking insane days. Like this was like literally the best time of my life. I went to museums, cities, adventures, like etc, like a lot of places in just 2 weeks. It's like I lived almost like, I don't know, in 2 weeks I lived like a fucking half of a year worth of experience. And that's bloody, like, it's an amazing feeling when you know that you have done something which is memorable in just 2 weeks. And right now, of course, I need to go to school because the holidays, like, blah, blah, blah. And it's all of a sudden like, it's like 2 weeks have passed and I didn't even notice. And that's not good. And I can't complain about like, oh, I need to go to school and like I don't have the second options. Like, no, it's directly my responsibility to live an interesting life, to live a good life, to actually get some experience in life. It's not the responsibility of like the government or like the school principal or like my teachers or classmates. No, it's like, it's my responsibility. And this is directly my fault that the last 2 weeks have like flown by and I haven't even noticed, and I haven't even like really done anything interesting. Like I have done something on weekends, and like I went to this like park, and then I went on a walk with my parents, and like it's like I have done some interesting things, but those were not like fucking going 250 kilometers away or into like a different city. So it's like a totally different thing for me. Bro, there's like fucking bicycles right here. But the general point that I'm making right now is that it's directly your responsibility to live an interesting life. And so if you want to actually live like a good life, if you want to live a life where you have some experience, when you actually like do something interesting, it's like, yeah, take ownership of this. It's like nobody is it's nobody's fault except yours. It's like, bro, there are fucking guys with like a fucking loud music, and so my mind just went somewhere else. It's like okay, back on the point. Again, the only probably the advice that I have gave at the start of this video, which is like, go out and explore some at least like some new places in your city, will make wonders for you. If you are already a bit leveled up, as I am right now, I would say it's more of like a social thing right now to get some like interesting memories. Why? Because like, yes, you have experienced new places. I have been to cities and parks and like cafes and etc, but right now it's like I need to go out with some people to get some experience. As I said, I went with my friend to this like new city, 250 kilometers. Bro, let me quickly check. I'm fucking like on the map where I am right now. Okay, good. Yeah, I'm just like, I'm interrupting myself in the middle of the video. Like, okay. I did it with a friend, and I know for a fact, like, if I hadn't had a friend with me when I went to the city, like, it wouldn't be like at least like half as so memorable as it is right now. I wouldn't get even a half of experience that I got from this trip. And so for me right now, it's my duty to take some of my friends out to actually do something more social and maybe do something like even unconventional. Because for example, I have been planning like, what if for example I go and work in a 9 to 5 for 2 weeks, not for the sake of just earning money, but to get actually some experience. And maybe like I will be turning 16 this year, so I have some opportunities. Maybe it's not like I'll go to some like trivial places, like just maybe fucking carrying boxes around some shops or something like that. Maybe I'll do something more interesting. Maybe I'll go, I don't know, to like a fucking radio. Maybe I'll work in a radio station for 2 weeks, and that's like, I'll get some experience right there, and so those will be some lifelong memories. And so, yeah, to conclude this video, the whole point that I'm making is that go out on adventures. Go out and actually do something new. If you just sit on your bloody couch and you'll just like stay and fucking like degenerate every single day with consuming content, like, no, go out and do something interesting. Do not blame it on school, university, work, boss, principal, teachers, classmates, colleagues, etc. Like, it's your fault that you don't live a good life. But with taking ownership, with taking responsibility comes great liberty. And that liberty is that you can change it. You can literally change it right now. There is nothing stopping you right now from going out, taking a train to like a new place in your city, or maybe like not even in a city, like just go. If I don't know, you live in the fucking middle of nowhere, you live in some like rural towns, there's nothing stopping you from taking some money, going out into like the city nearby, going to the fanciest cafe there, and just like staying and just like sitting there, buying a cup of coffee and just like watch the people. Those will be some memories. And so yeah, I hope this will help you, and see you in the next one. Like, bro, look at like, no, you don't see the fucking views because it's like it's just forest behind me. Okay, see you in the next one.